Hi, guys. Happy Sunday, you guys. Happy Sunday. I'm trying to get the light to work to look not crazy. I guess it's okay. I feel like my camera looks. If y'all say it's okay, then it's okay. I'm on here a little early. Happy Sunday. Just make sure everything's working clearly. Y'all can hear me and see me clearly. Turn off my phone on Do Not Disturb. Welcome, everybody. It'll take a minute for people to come on in here. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Is that Salban Bowden? Look, I'm going to say Bowden. Well, you got to spell it out for me so I can know how to pronounce it. But happy Sunday. Welcome. Hope y'all are having a great weekend. Hope y'all are. Come on in here. Hope y'all are having. I'm typing in the chat. Having a great weekend. Come on in here. You know I come a little early, like the pre-party before the party, right? Happy Sunday. Y'all tell me where you're from. Tell me what you got going. Tell me where you're from, right? If this is your first time tuning in, let me know. Tell me where you're tuning in from. Let me know if you can hear me and see me clearly. I'm trying to get the light to look decent, right? So I don't look crazy. Ohio. You guys, blessings, Auction Mama Lori from Minnesota. You know, if you put a state up here, I'm going to try to act like I was born and raised there with the accent. You know, I'm going to try to do it. Minnesota. It's Siobhan. Got you from Chi-Town. Y'all know I was born in Chicago. Y'all know that was my birthplace. But don't ask me anything about Chicago except for like pizza. Don't ask me no street names or nothing like that. I was just born there. You know what I mean? Bronx, y'all from the Bronx, you know what I mean? Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, Michigan, Chicago, West Virginia. Don't get me started, baby. If it's a state name or a city, I'm gonna come up with something for it. Mountain Mama, take me home. Down country. Y'all was like, this is not what I came on here for a concert. 7 from Decatur, Georgia. Minnesota, don't you know? We can see and hear you clear. You're from California. Okay, so y'all just waking up on the West Coast, just waking up, doing your little sunrise Pilates, eating your tofu scramble on the beach. Must be nice in California, Nika. Must be nice. While the rest of us are getting ready to go to bed. All the way from South Memphis. You down the street, neighbor. Down the street, you guys. We got about 1 minute. I love when y'all people start coming on here, getting the emails that I'm live. I feel like every you know how y'all doing how they doing on the West Coast while we all over here doing what we do. I know you just waking up on the West Coast, eating your little smoothies and doing your little sunrise Pilates. I know what you're doing over there. Must be nice. So I'm just kidding. I love Cali. We love California. It is 7:00, you guys. Welcome. Thank you for liking and sharing, you guys. Welcome. Did some of y'all join me last night? I'm gonna go live 3 days last night, tonight, and tomorrow. 3-day weekend to get September started. You know, they've got this like great lock-in on TikTok where everybody's kind of locking in for September through the end of the year. And y'all know I'm with it. I'm always like for a good challenge. I'm with it. So I wrote my goals out for September, just locking in, focused on business. And I think it's just basically just focusing on, what you need to focus on. Standing on business, minding your business for the rest of the year, cutting out distractions and just doing what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? That's what we're doing for the end of the year. Just learning, doing better, goal setting. I set mine. I got my September goal set. I got fourth quarter goal set. Y'all know I'm going to get certified as an REO agent because I see what's coming. And y'all, I'm leaving here with something. That's what I said last night. We leaving here with something this go around with this foreclosure wave that's coming. So I'm doing everything to prepare now. Because look, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Maybe that's all I'm saying. So I don't know about y'all, but this go around when these foreclosures hit, because they're saying it's going to be worse than 2008. They are predicting it's going to be worse than 2008. So I'm leaving here with something. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? We're just going to run it up for the next 5 or 6 years. And then I'm going to be eating tofu scrambles with Anika on the West Coast. That's what I'm saying. Doing sunrise Pilates with her. That's what I'm going to do. Y'all, does my light look crazy or y'all don't care? Y'all just came for the information, right? So let me do an introduction for everybody who is new here. And if you're watching the replay, welcome. Introduction, you guys. I'm Ashley Pickens. I've been in real estate since 2006. You guys, I got licensed when I was 21 in 2006 as a real estate agent. Then I became a real estate broker over an entire firm of agents. And then about 8 years ago, I became an auctioneer. And I'm the person that says going once, going twice, sold at the courthouse. I auction off foreclosures. So I do that here, Shelby County, which is Memphis, all the way to Nashville, like Jackson, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, parts of Mississippi, and all these rural counties in between. So that is what I do. I work the distressed market. I primarily work the distressed market. I work with investors. I love my little first-time home buyers. They know I do. They know I did. But y'all, I'm on the investment side now. No, J Knight, you haven't missed anything. You have not missed anything. I'm still in the introduction, J Nice 305. I'm still in the introduction. You haven't missed nothing. So I work with investors now. That is my thing. Because y'all can have it on their residential side, y'all. I love my first time home buyers and all that kind of stuff, but I like the investment side at this point. Going on 20 years in real estate, I prefer the investment side. That is what I do. I work the distressed market, so that's pre-foreclosures, auctions, short sales, airship properties. That's what I do. That is my main focus, and that's what I try to teach y'all. I come on here and I try to do master classes and videos and teach y'all about that, because I know nobody's teaching y'all about the auction. Y'all don't even know everybody has heard that they auction off properties at the courthouse. We have all heard of that, right? But most people have no idea, like what time, what properties, how you pay for them, none of that. You know what I mean? So that's why I started just kind of teaching people and making videos, trying to teach y'all how to get these properties, right? Hey, Ashton, welcome to the dark side, aka the creative best. I mean, I guess you could say, you guys, I do auction off people's houses. So I'm like the dark side of real estate, right? But I still try to help. Y'all know I help homeowners. Like once people started figuring out that I was the one auctioning, then people would start reaching out to me and like, my brother's in foreclosure. Ashley, can he call you? Yeah, he can call me. And then I started helping people who were in foreclosure, right? Because I mean, I'm going to try to do everything I can to help you keep and save your house if I can. So, and that's how the mentorship was started. Like once I started helping people in pre-foreclosure, people saw me doing my little letters on Instagram. Y'all see me do my letters, and people were like, what are you sending? And so I was like, my letters. I send letters to people who are in foreclosure offering my assistance. And then it kind of blossomed into a whole mentorship, 6-week mentorship. I saw a couple of y'all jumped in today. The next mentorship starts September 10th. We run for 6 weeks. I teach you how to reach out to people in pre-foreclosure wherever you live. You know what I mean? How to talk to banks, how to talk to homeowners, how to make offers, all that kind of stuff. You got me for 6 weeks. And we have a solid community over there. We've got some heavy hitters who do REOs, who work BPOs. You know, we just kind of take over the whole foreclosure market. So I'll drop that link in the chat if y'all want to join us. It's a good time. You see me every week. Can you imagine? So welcome, Jackie from Round Rock, Texas. Y'all know what I'm going to say about Texas. Maybe y'all better hold on. I bet you're getting so busy. Did you move? New background? So I'm in another room. Look, Nikki, I'm trying to make sure the Wi-Fi stays strong. You know what I mean? That's what we're trying to do. I moved closer to the Wi-Fi. Last night we did good. We made it a solid hour. We're going to keep the faith that that's what's going to happen tonight. So you guys, let's jump in. If you have questions, throw them in the chat. Let's talk with next week is a big auction week, you guys. First Tuesday of the month. I always tell y'all to go to the auction. I just dropped the mentorship link in there. The early bird, look, the reception is crisp on this Sunday. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, Nikki. Tell me. Because y'all know when I start glitching and freezing up, y'all better tell me. You know what I mean? I dropped the mentorship link in the chat. The early bird special, I extended it through tomorrow because somebody asked me if I would extend it. Of course, y'all know I don't care. So let's jump in. Big auction week, Texas, Georgia. Who was with me last night? How many of y'all were with me last night? I kind of want to go over foreclosure numbers just to refresh everybody's mind on where the foreclosures are, wherever you live, depending on the city. You know what I mean? Let me pull up an article. If you came last night, y'all just gonna have to get the recap real quick. And then we will jump into some auction properties if that's all right with y'all. I'm so glad y'all came and see me 2 nights in a row. Y'all gonna learn this weekend. Y'all kicking off September learning. That's what we're gonna do. So blink if you can see my screen. Blink if you can see my screen. Did it change? Look, they even have an article in here. What's the earliest reliable signal that a borrower is headed for foreclosure? I have never seen them do an article like that. That lets me know probably thank you. Thank you. Nikki. I've never seen them do an article about what's the earliest reliable signal that a borrower is headed for foreclosure. They in the back rooms talking, y'all. These banks and everything, they see those defaults are looking like. So y'all know when it comes to foreclosure, everybody kind of has their, what's the word I'm looking for? What they believe, how many people they believe are in default, right? Like everybody kind of has their, you got the people who are like, it's not that many people. It's probably 1 to 3 million people in foreclosure. Then you have like that second camp that's like, maybe it's like 3 to 6 million people in foreclosure. Then you got people who are like, maybe it's 6 to 10. Y'all know I'm in the camp that says it's at least 10 million people in foreclosure. At least 10 million people are in foreclosure. We've got, what is it, 10% of FHA loans are in default. VA loans are in default. FHA and VA are leading right now with defaults. Again, at the auction now, we're seeing people who are in foreclosure who just bought a year ago. I filed a foreclosure notice and they just bought June 2024 and they are in foreclosure right now. Their house is going up for auction a little over a year. Will you be talking about auctions in the state? Yeah, we'll talk about the whole, Annika, we'll talk about I'll just show you where to find it wherever you live. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make, because I know we got a variety of people here. So I try to make sure you can find things wherever you are. So, and again, like last night, I said my friend in Austin, she files foreclosure notices, and I think she filed 12 or 14 this past week. All of them were 2024. All of the notices were people who just bought in 2024, already in foreclosure. So it's just so much going on. I do think it's at least 10 million people. They're not, of course, they're not talking about it on the news, but a lot of people are thinking it's going to be worse than 2008. And y'all, we have not had a period of time where we didn't foreclose on people for like years and years. Remember, we had a moratorium for 2 years. We really haven't foreclosed on people, honestly, since COVID. Like they're starting to push more people through, but our numbers are super low. In a regular year, you guys, we foreclose on at least 1 million people every single year in a normal market, like 2018 before COVID hit. Y'all, we were hitting like 43,000 people like the past couple of years for the whole year. Y'all, they said when COVID hit, we had almost 8 million people in foreclosure when COVID hit. And then all those people got trapped, with the moratorium. And then we haven't foreclosed in like, can y'all believe COVID? It's been like 5 years for COVID. You know what I mean? So imagine how many people, and they call me every day, y'all. They haven't paid in 2 and 3 years. A guy called me and I was like, what's your past due balance? Like, how much do you owe? And he was like $129,000. $130,000 past due. You haven't paid your mortgage in like 3 years. if you owe $130,000 and they haven't taken your house yet. You know what I mean? So I look at these numbers, like I read these articles, but honestly, I think the numbers are so undervalued, right? You have people where it's like 90 days behind, but not in foreclosure, people who are still in forbearance. It's just so many, I don't know. But I don't know. It's just so much going on in property taxes and everything. Stuff is just unaffordable. So y'all just hold on, but prepare yourselves. I will say that. Prepare yourself. So let's read this real quick, just a refresh from last night, and then we will jump into some auction properties that are up for auction this week. We'll talk about how to bid on them, how to set that budget. We'll just look and see. So, real quick, you guys, we had 36. So, the top title of the article, U.S. foreclosure activity jumps 13%, highest in 2025. July saw the highest number of foreclosures in the whole year, and I expect for it just to continue to increase, honestly. Eventually, these banks just can't hold on. You know what I mean? They just can't hold on. And then we got natural disasters on top of that, the wildfires on the West Coast, hurricanes, all that on the East Coast. You know what I mean? So it's just, I would just say perfect. We got ingredients for a perfect storm, is what I would say. So we got 36,128 properties with the foreclosure filing. Like I said last night, foreclosure 3 phases. Homeowner gets behind, the lender files that notice of default. The second phase is the auction is scheduled. The cue your auction mama. And then the third and final phase, the bank repossesses that property. Those are also known as what, Jackie? Jackie gonna tell me first. If the house does not sell at auction and reverts back to the bank, what do we call those properties, everybody? What do we call them? What do we call them? There you go. I knew Jackie was gonna be first, baby. Jackie be over there like REO. REO properties. If I do not sell that property at auction, that's right, Michelle. If it does not sell at auction and it goes back to the bank, those are known as REO properties. Okay, so let's talk about them. I'm going to go through this pretty quick. Who's got the worst foreclosure rates right now across the country? States. That's Nevada. Nevada. They told me I say it wrong. I say the A wrong. It's Nevada, not Nevada. They said it's the A like in I don't know. It's Nevada, but not Nevada. Okay, because y'all gonna tell me when I say it wrong. Any advice on establishing residency in Arkansas? So you can bid on properties in Arkansas without being a resident. You can bid out of state. You can absolutely. You do not have to be in state to bid on a property. So we'll talk about it. Nevada, Florida, Maryland. Maryland is doubling. I don't know what y'all doing up there in Maryland. South Carolina and Illinois. Highest overall foreclosure rates across the country. Let's talk cities. Bakersville, California. Cape Coral, Florida. Lakeland, Florida, baby. Florida and Texas. All I can say is hold on. I might be able to get my beach house for $27.19 if Florida keep going in the direction that it's going. Columbia, South Carolina, and Deltona, Florida. Let's talk about the big major cities. Y'all know who at the top of all the lists right now. Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas is hitting the top of all foreclosure lists right now. Jacksonville, Florida. And my friend who works in Texas said that nobody's got equity. Y'all, she's having a short sale all the properties. Don't nobody have any equity. And the veterans are getting hit real hard in Texas. I think they're getting hit real hard everywhere, honestly. So Houston, Texas, Jacksonville, Florida, Las Vegas, Nevada, Riverside, California, and Cleveland, Ohio. These are the worst overall foreclosure rates across the country. Who's got the greatest number of foreclosure starts? That's that first phase. Homeowner gets behind and the lender files. Brand new homeowner going into foreclosure. We've got 24,302 new foreclosures in July. States, Texas, with every time I read that number, I'm like, oh my gosh. 3,600 new foreclosure starts in Texas alone. Florida had 2,891. California had 2,830. Illinois had 1177, and Ohio had 1,029 new foreclosure starts. I'm seeing more short sales pop up. And yeah, a lot of people don't have equity. And I know they keep, when you watch the news, they're like, everybody got equity. Everybody, ain't nobody going to be in foreclosure because they got equity. Shh, y'all. And then if you don't have any equity, you can't refinance. So if you were promised that you could date the rate and marry the house, you know you can't refinance if you don't have equity. So they said they have denied 40% of refinances. Denied 40% of refinances. So everybody who thought they could date the rate, marry the house, and thought they could refinance, because that's why people say date the rate, so you can turn around and refinance. 40% of refinances have been canceled, have been denied. So that's what's going to push people into foreclosure too. That's exactly what will push people into foreclosure. Struggling to pay a mortgage, can't refinance, rates haven't gone down. I mean, they're starting to go down a little bit, but not enough for it to make a dent in people's, mortgage payments. That's how you said poor Cleveland can't get back up. I know, it's okay. Major cities, these are foreclosure starts. Major cities, again, who was at the top of the list of foreclosure starts? Houston, Texas, with 1,406. Chicago, Illinois, with 1,117 new foreclosures. New York City, with 1,003. Miami, Florida, with 920. And Dallas, Texas, with 751 new foreclosure starts for July. In the third and final phase, you guys, that REO phase, lenders repossessed 3,866 U.S. properties through completed foreclosures, right? States, Texas, 377, California, 360, Florida, 241, Michigan had 236, and Illinois had 223. And if we had to pinpoint some cities, we got Chicago, y'all on the list. Chicago, Illinois with 139. New York City had 120. Detroit, Michigan had 101. Houston, Texas had 95. And Los Angeles had 77 REO properties. I'm going to drop this in the chat, you guys, so y'all can read it for your own understanding before you go to bed, okay? To any veteran pay the rent more, don't forget to contact. Yes, if you are a veteran, reach out to the VA. They really do try to help veterans. I know one of the programs has expired, I think, but still reach out. They try to help veterans, which they should, right? So, yeah, veterans getting hit hard. Everybody getting hit hard. And then people who want to sell can't sell because the market's kind of locked up right now, more sellers than buyers. And and if you in foreclosure trying to sell, y'all, talk to your lender. That's all I can say. Talk to your lender if you are in foreclosure and trying to sell. I will say that. Let's talk about, we're supposed to talk about auctions today, right? So couple places to find auctions. Let's do auction.com. Let's look at that. And then yep, there's interesting. If a house short sale for 100 but appraised at 250, will the bank send to IRS that you had an income of 100K? Will the bank send to the IRS that you had well, I'm sure if the house short sells for 150 but appraised at 250. Hold on, I think I'm lost on your question. So the house appraises at 250 and y'all trying to short sell, like how much? The bank probably not gonna let you sell it for 150. It appraised for 250. Like how much do you owe on the house? You know what I mean? When you short sale, it's because you owe more on the house than it's worth. You know what I mean? So if you short sale for, if you owe 250 but it's only worth 150, is that the question you asking me? Because Tina, I'm trying to make sure I understand your question. So y'all understand what a short, I know Tina understand what a short sale is, but for everybody who might be new here, a short sale is when you are asked, when you're basically upside down, right? You're upside down on your house. You owe more on your house than what your house is worth. And I know when you watch the news, they make it seem like everybody has equity, But the truth is, let me show you some numbers because I'm going to show you some receipts real quick. So when you owe more on your house than what it's worth, um, you have to try to ask the bank if you could sell it for less. An agent has to initiate a short sale, right? Which states had the most underwater properties in quarter 2? Can y'all see that? Louisiana is number 1. 1 in 8 mortgages are underwater in Louisiana. Y'all, and they got the Katrina documentary going on right now all over the place because this is the 20th, you know, you hate to say anniversary, but the 20th year. I can't believe it's been 20 years since Katrina, but 1 in 8 mortgage. Louisiana just can't get right. Louisiana, don't talk about them. 1 in 8 mortgages, y'all. That's like, think about, it's more like people on your street. You know what I mean? Like 1 in 8, 1 in 14, Kentucky, 1 in 15 mortgages in Mississippi, 1 in 17 mortgages in Iowa, 1 in 18 in Oklahoma. And it just goes on. That's the top 10 are upside down right now. And then it lists, I'll share this so y'all can read this, but everybody does not have equity, you guys. Everybody does not have equity. Do not be fooled by that. Okay. So back to what we were talking about, you guys. Auction.com. It's a great place to find auctions. You can find bank-owned properties and foreclosures. Now, what I will say, because I'm your auction mama and I love you with all of my heart, the auction is not for everybody. I've said that before. Everybody's blood pressure cannot handle the auction. Tina, I don't think so. Like, if you're taking a loss, I don't think, you know what I mean? If it's a loss, it's a loss. It's not like you got that $100,000 back. It's like capital gains, Tina. I think it's going to show up as a loss, and it's going to hit your credit if you short sale a little bit. Not as much as a foreclosure, but it'll hit your credit. But what I was going to say, because Tina, I didn't want you to think I skipped over your question. The auction, a lot of people, since they know that I work at the auction, I work with foreclosures, they're like, Ashley, I want to come see you at the auction. Ashley, I want a foreclosure. And the reality is, no, you don't. No, you don't. I would love for you to come to the auction, but the auction is just not for everybody. First of all, let's take a poll real quick. Drop it in the chat. Would you buy a house that you cannot see the inside of? 1, yes, 2, no. Would you buy a house blind? You cannot see the inside of it. Yes, no, 1, whatever y'all want to put. Jackie said no. No. Look, no. I'm looking at the chat. No. 2, no. See, y'all see the chat. Okay, so that's the first question. Would you buy a house you cannot see the inside of? Dr. Veronica said yes. She the only yes. We got some maybes. Next question. 1, you can't see the inside of the house. 2, you have to pay cash for it. All of it up front. Keep in mind, I just said you can't see the inside of it. I'm making you pay cash up front, no refunds on a house that you cannot see the inside of. Yes or no? Y'all doing that? Your blood pressure already going up. Already. Okay, Agent Dawkins, I'm always going to have some investors hop on here and say yes. You know what I mean? The investors are going to say if the number's right. So now it's a double no. So you can't see the inside of it. Boom. That's number 1. You have to have cash, all of it, when you come see me. And 3, the homeowner's still probably in the house. Is people still in the house, right? The people who were foreclosed on are probably still in that house. So it's people living in the house. You're going to have to evict them. You can't see the inside of the house that these people are living in. And you have to pay me cash in full right then and there. That's the auction, you guys. That sums up The auction. Yes, underwrite that with max. Make sure to do due diligence. And actually, there. No, I don't deal with squatters. No, ma'am. See, it just depends. Now, do all the houses have people living in it? Ashley, will you buy it if the numbers right? If the numbers are right, yes, yes. But again, y'all, I've been in real estate for 20 years, right? I got a contractor who can do anything. I got people. When you have investors and you know contractors who can look at a house and say, okay, it's 1,800 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. I know it's going to cost me probably 5,000 in a bathroom. If you can do your numbers, right? And if you can get it for a low enough price, right? There was a house that went up for auction. I'll pull it up today. We'll look at it. Opening bid was $100,000. It got bid up to $900,000 because the house was worth like 1.2 million. You guys, would you buy a $900,000 house if you could get it for $100,000? Yes, yes, y'all would. and just and just wait and see. And that's what it just depends, right? There are a lot of things that you have to do before you go to the auction. Due diligence, right? You can get to the auction and buy the wrong lien, right? You can spend $100,000 on the wrong lien and not get any type of ownership of that house. And your feelings just going to be hurt the rest of the year. You know what I mean? It's just things that come with the auction, right? But you can get great deals at the auction, but you got to know what you're doing. Now, for people who are like, I want a foreclosure, I would say go the REO route, go bank owned, right? Because the bank has already cleaned it out. You can get an inspection, you can use financing, you can back out of that deal. Nobody lives in it. I would always say go the REO route if you have to, right? What does it think of? Okay. Have the laws changed for, I think, Tiffany, the laws depend on where you live. You know what I mean? Some places are investor friendly, some states are not investor friendly, right? So I think it depends. My father was an appraiser for 40 plus years. I've seen some horrible properties with them. No, right? The front of it will be standing and the whole back will be burnt out, right? That's the thing with the auction. You've got to know the state laws. You know what I mean? Because y'all ain't seeing these people be squatting in people's houses and then and live there, right? You know what I mean? Not paying. What was it? One guy, what was it? Like they did an Airbnb and then they didn't move out. Not me, baby. I'm coming to take the hinges off the doors. I'm taking the hinges off the doors. We all gonna be in here squatting. I'm gonna come in here too. If you in my house not paying and staying, um, so I think it just depends on the states if they're investor friendly and what the squatter rules are. But baby, don't squat in mine. Doors coming off the hinges, cutting off all the utilities. That's what I would do. We all gonna be in here together. So just that those are things you have to think about when buying at the auction. So let's look at a couple of properties. Y'all know next week, first Tuesday of the month. You guys, first Tuesday of the month. I think this is on Georgia. So, first Tuesday of the month, that's Texas and Georgia. Big auction week. If you live in Texas or Georgia, y'all go to the courthouse and y'all will see how many auctions. The county courthouse auctions are always at the courthouse, or they might be like in a conference room in a hotel. But if you look, let's see, here we go. This one says Fulton County Courthouse. You got to look at the location so you'll know where it is, right? Fulton County Courthouse. That's where you go for the auction. We're never at the house unless you're like in Boston. It must be really safe in Boston. Boston, they auction at the people's houses. I'm like, golly, Boston must be real safe because they could never in Memphis. Maybe I could never be in anybody's front yard auctioning off their house. Picking up squatting as all right. Not in my house. As for me and my house, we both gonna be in here, baby. You can't book me for Airbnb and decide you want to stay. Not today, and I'm gonna bring a dog and everything. Everything, doors off the hinges. I'm telling you. Not a squatter who can cook. Yeah. Online as well. Yeah, depending on where you are, Jackie, that's right. They can be online. So here you just put in where you live. Let's see what's going on in Los Angeles, California. So y'all know auctions, good place. If you know what you're doing, make sure you're buying the right lien. So look at this one. But this is bank owned. I'm starting to see banks auction off their properties instead of just a lot of times putting them on like HUD Home Store. Banks are starting to auction them off because this is a bank owned, but it's an auction though, instead of like putting it on the MLS. So opening bid is 665. It's worth 1.8. Is it empty? Is it empty? We got any interior pictures? It is empty. That's what I figured. If it's bank owned, it should be empty. Title should be good. Shouldn't be any squatters in there. And depending on when these pictures were taken, you know what I mean? So, but usually, so for me, I do trustee sales. So I'm at the courthouse. You got to come. You have to have certified funds. When you come see me, if the winning bid is 50,000, 500,000, I need it in certified funds in the entire amount. Now, if you bid online, they might give you like a 24-hour grace period to wire the money. But with me, I need your coins as soon as I say sold. As soon as I say sold, I need all your coins. I'm not waiting for you to go to the bank. I'm not waiting for anybody to bring you any money. You got to have it with you. So my friend wants to ask me, can she use NACA, a grant? She's yes, she absolutely can use NACA. NACA is a great program. Now tell your friend they're going to make her jump through hoops. Hoop jumping is a sport when it comes to NACA. They want her whole life story. How much savings she got, how much is in her checking account, if she has any stocks, but they're going to give her a low interest rate. I think NACA's rate is like 2% or something. But baby, when I tell you they want your whole life story, they might want a kidney or your firstborn because it's a hoop jumping Olympics over there on NACA side. But they're going to give you a low interest rate and all that kind of stuff. So it's a good program, but just prepare yourself. That's all I'm saying. And they're going to ask for it. So, and they want to make sure you got some savings. They want to make sure you got your whole life in order. They might ask to see your will and your life insurance. I don't know. But NACA, I'm telling you. But it's, look, but it's a good program. So if you can qualify through it, absolutely. It's a good program. My friend went through it, but she just wanted that low interest rate and all her stuff was like legit. You know what I mean? She had like good credit and everything. But they're going to be in your business. Let me tell you that. Just click. I'm clicking on foreclosed. So let's see what's going up for auction this week. That's auction.com. Y'all look at auction.com if you want to. Put in city, state, zip, and go to the auction, y'all. Y'all don't have to pay anything. It's not like a cover charge when you get there. Just go, see what it's like, see how many people are there for you, all investors or wholesalers, and people looking for buyers, because a lot of people are like, where do I find buyers if you're a wholesaler? Y'all go to the auction. People in auction, you go into the Fulton County auction, send me pictures. I always tell people to send me pictures. Are there people in the auction that are hiking up the bids? I think it depends on where you go. In Memphis, it's the same group of guys at the auction every time. But it don't matter what they hike it up to. Stay in your budget. Ray from Maryland. The plot thickens with Ashley Pickens. There it is. What was I going to say? Stay in your budget at the auction. I always tell people you never know who you're bidding against. A lot of times I see people buy the property and they're the next door neighbor, right? So they want that house right next door to them. So they're going to pay more versus you or an investor who's trying to buy it to flip it and get off of it, right? So stay in your budget. Drive by that house before you bid on it. If you are bidding out of state, pay somebody to drive by that house, okay? Welcome, Charleston, South Carolina. Are you close to Spartanburg, South Carolina? Because they on the foreclosure list, Michael. But drive by it. I was at the auction the other day and a guy was like, I watched your videos. It's so nice I love when y'all see y'all. He was like, I watched your video, and the thing I live by is I always drive by the property before I bid. And he drove by a property that he was about to bid on, and it had been a storm the night before, and a tree fell on it. And so, of course, he didn't bid on it. You know what I mean? But all the other guys at the auction didn't know a tree had fallen on that house. He was like, and from that day on, I drive by every property before I bid on it. So you just have to do your due diligence, drive by, check that title, just know what you get into before you get into it, right? Before you jump yourself right into the deep end of the ocean, right? So auction.com, that's a great place. Let's look at some properties going up for auction next week. I shared this site with y'all last night. This is one of the companies that I actually auction for. So Georgia and Texas, big auction week. Let's look at first class. Let's look at MK Consultants, a really good trustee site. If you can find the trustees, y'all know I know all the trustees because I work pre-foreclosures. So I need to get to them before they go to the auction. If you are just joining, you guys, the next mentorship starts September 10th. But if you join, you can join the mentorship next week. You can come to class next week, but the new one starts on September 10th. A bunch of y'all got in last night. So we work pre-foreclosures. That is before they go to auction. We work directly with the homeowners, right? Because at auction, what did I say? You cannot see the inside of that property, right? So when you work directly with the homeowner, you can make a deal with the homeowner. You can look inside that property. You can set up a closing date so they don't have to be a squatter and you have to take the doors off the hinges. You know what I mean? So if you are interested in doing that and, helping people, look, did you see how my voice changed? Helping people in a tough situation. That's what I do. Try to lead with love, But this is a trustee site and they post some of the auctions. Let's take a look at last week's auction. So if you are new here, class, if you're new here, this row right here, first of all, blink, 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 blink. I need to come to auction. I need to come to Boston and auction since y'all doing it in the front yard. I don't know. They might. I don't know. I absolutely am in mama mode. You can ask Ray in the mentorship. When I get on the phone with the banks and these homeowners, that's what I tell people, baby. I am mama bear. When I get on the phone with the banks and these homeowners, I am mama bear. I'm like, are y'all in the business of taking people's houses? And they're like, oh, no, ma'am. I'm like, okay, well, we need to figure something out. Y'all got to stop this auction. But y'all, I will tell y'all, a lot of these banks, Mr. Cooper, y'all, they don't give AF. AF. They are taking people houses these days. They don't care. And it's because people haven't paid in years. And now, they're scheduled for auction and the homeowner will call and be like, well, I want to sell it or I want to send you a payment. And the banks are like, nope, you going to auction today. So a lot of these banks are not working with people anymore. They are not. We are starting to see that. And I know we will start to see that more. So the harvest is ripe, but the workers are few. I know y'all like, Ashley is crazy. But anyway, that's how it goes down in the mentorship. If you want to come for 6 weeks, and y'all know I'm getting certified to be an REO agent, you guys, in September. So y'all have to come along for that journey too. So I told y'all I'm leaving here with some this time around. Now, back to what we were talking about, because y'all know I can get distracted. I dropped it in the chat if you want to join the mentorship and come see us on Thursdays, Wednesdays. We'll figure it out. So this is last week, you guys. Here's this lane. This row is the property address. This is the county, the state, the time of the auction. This is the opening bid. I'm sharing this with you so y'all can save this site and check it during the week or when there's an auction and you know what you're looking at. This is the opening bid. Okay, this is where they will post the opening bid. This is where the results will be. Okay, if this number and this number is the same, it means it did not sell at auction and reverted back to the bank and became a what? An REO property. Y'all with me, right? Y'all with me? So we will look here. You can see a lot of properties went back to the bank, right? Because I bet a lot of them were just bought in the last few years. So that one didn't sell. That one went back to the bank. A lot of them are going back to the bank. Let's see if we can find one that actually sold. None of these sold. None of those sold. That didn't sell. That didn't sell. PP means postponed. They have been postponed till November 25th. Properties can get postponed because maybe the homeowner filed bankruptcy. The homeowner might be trying to sell it. The homeowner might be trying to do a modification and work something out with the bank. But postpone just means the date got pushed back. Auctions get postponed all the time. All the time. So don't get your feelings hurt if you're going to the auction and your property gets postponed. CXL means canceled. They might have sold it. They might have paid it off. You know what I mean? Rescue me. All these got postponed. So that means they're going back to the bank. That's how I'm telling you, those are going to explode here shortly. Okay, 600,000 did not sell. What is this? Is this a duplex 1409? Y'all know I take my time and look at a couple of them if I can. Let's see. Let's see. Share this tab instead. I'll read the chat. What is this? A lot of them are like commercial buildings a lot of times. Warehouses. This can't be it. Not for 600,000. What was it? 140? Norm. Oh, it must be this house and the next door neighbor house. Maybe. But that's it for 600. It's got to be both of them because that only say 162. Share this tab. Let's keep looking, class. Let me see if I'm missing y'all's